Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the New York live stream. Sorry if I startled you right there, but we are about to get into the charts and break down why Bitcoin is probably going to pull the dirtiest move. We've had some news suggesting that the economy is not looking that great, given that more people are claiming benefit. That's good news for the Fed, but again, if the economy is going to slow down, then that's going to be a problem for the Fed. It's so hard being Jerome Powell. But listen, we're going to get to that very shortly. We've got movement in the charts right now. S&P is starting to take a little bit of a move lower, suggesting that Bitcoin is probably going to do the same. But we're going to be looking at a specific range in Bitcoin right now to make sense of the madness that is going to unfold in the New York live stream. In the New York futures markets, which will be coming out in the next 25 minutes. Up until that point, I'm going to be navigating the charts. We're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at some euro. We'll look at dominance of the dollar, NASDAQ, S&P. And then by the time we get towards the open of the New York futures markets, I'm going to have a look at some altcoins that you guys hopefully are going to spam the chat up with. And I'm just going to pick out some random coins and see what we can do in terms of a projection and where we can expect them to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, the like button is free of charge. Hit that bad boy up. Let's have a conversation. All right then, ladies and gents, keeping it simple today. Bitcoin right now on the 1 hour time frame. Now, what I'm going to give you is a way to approach the charts. So you've woken up, you've smacked back the coffee, the missus is screaming in your ear, get the kids sorted out and what have you. You just want 5 minutes to just have a look at the charts. In front of you, you've got Bitcoin on the 1 hour time frame. You've got about 2 hours where you want to just see if you can exploit some movement in the chart. What's the first thing you've got to consider? Well, let's just look at what's going on in the chart right now. Price is flat on the 50 EMA, which is this purple line right here. We've had some consistent rejections from the psychological areas to anybody new passing through. The psychological area is the first high and the first low that is formed at the start of a new trading week. Now, this is important because it tells us what Mr. Market Maker's trying to do. And if you are adamant that Market Maker doesn't exist, tell me I'm wrong. Alameda Research. And we were talking about good old Alameda Research way before it was on the scope of cryptocurrency, to the point where we were looking at their website and we noticed that they gave us insight into their strategies. Mean reversion. Cheers, good old Sam Bankman mess up. And then they changed their website. They removed the strategies. What's going on there, bro? Anyways, with that being said, we haven't got the volatility that we're looking for right now. But then again, the markets aren't fully open. The futures markets are about to unfold. And this is what you want to try and do. You look at Bitcoin and you say to yourself, oh, is Bitcoin going to go up? Is it going to go down? Okay, cool. So the psychological areas tell me that market maker seems to be rejecting these areas right here. Look at this. Rejection from that zone. Look at this. Rejection from that zone. Okay, cool. What does it tell me? It tells me that there's interest in this area. So by principle of market maker, if I'm going to get my shorts built from the highest point, I need to do what? I need to start moving price up to get people to believe that we're breaking the range. It's going to go even higher. Hopefully it does. Remember the daily time frame. Remember what we said about that bad boy. We said as long as price is above the 800 EMA on the daily time frame, we are only seeking the value of higher prices. Our scope is to go higher. But what happens if Bitcoin starts to break down towards that zone? The key zone you need to mark off. Now, every single one of you, get on your charts if you are on the charts and start marking off the 27,548. This is, in principle, the whole and half number zone. Like I said to you guys before, when market maker wants to build his shorts, he does it at the highest possible point. So let's assume that you've got a whole number, which will be 28,000, and a half number, which will be 28,500. Just this practice alone is going to align you with what is likely to be happening inside of a specific price point in Bitcoin, okay? So remember, the futures markets is about grabbing traders' liquidity. Look at this. This is where traders' liquidity is currently at. We go into the 12-hour time frame, and you can see we've currently got about $28,200 on Bitcoin. We got $335 million worth of short liquidations. Now, if we just go over towards the liquidation levels, let's have a look at what people have been doing. Have they been buying or have they been selling? Well, all the way at the top side around the 29.30 zone, we've got lots of short liquidations. These guys ain't paying themselves. All right? This is live money sat in margins on Binance for traders going short. We zoom in a little bit. Look at this. Can you see this area? The sad truth is someone went long at 27,900, 22 million, a collective of $22 million worth of longs were opened, and they've been liquidated, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm correct. No, they haven't been liquidated. 28,838 is the next liquidation zone, which is $22.4 million worth of long liquidations. We go in a little bit closer to the chart. We can see that this is the zone. They have taken it. Forgive me. The next zone would be 21.7 million, which sits at 27,819. And then below that, we've got $68 million worth of long liquidations at 27,796. So what am I getting at here? All right. What I'm getting at is Bitcoin is close to liquidations down to the downside as opposed to the upside. All right. Remember, 27,548 is the sweet spot, which will dictate if Bitcoin is going to hold this zone. Until it invalidates that 27,548, the date or the holder has only got a bias of belief that it's going to try and move higher. He's looking for information to verify whether he's going to start buying now or wait until it comes down a little bit lower. We haven't had a test of the 50 EMA on the daily time frame. That could be a possibility. So if they do break this 27,548, we're going lower. Okay? Now, this is the daily. For my day traders, we go into smaller time frames to make sense of that madness. So let's have a look at what Bitcoin's doing. So we just had ourselves a nice little stop hunt rise with a drop to the downside. Cool. We've had the news come out suggesting that there are more people currently out of work. We've got claims coming in at 228. There it is right there. Okay, that's setting us up to believe that the non-farm employment change might actually come in lower, suggesting less people are in work. That could also suggest that the unemployment rate could go up. So that's consistent with the Fed, because if people are unemployed, that means there's going to be a controlled spending. That's the only way that they can get inflation down. But you've got the economy slowing down. Look at the ISM services PMI comes in. It dropped, but it didn't contract. A reading below 50 is a contraction, but it's starting to show a sequence of going down with a reading from 54 down to 51. This is important when you're looking at fundamentals. Now, remember, the market is not the economy. So let's get into some price action and start labeling off what we could expect from Bitcoin. In front of you, you can see you've got a red vector candle region right here, and the daily open has not been tested yet. My understanding is I'm expecting Bitcoin, if it can hold this region, to try and break higher and test the daily open. Why? Because in that area there, that is where traders are looking like they're starting to commit. Look at these zones, okay? And this big zone right here could be a clue towards that, all right? So let's just zoom back out from that and then go elsewhere to find out where we are in terms of price action. We go over to good old Exo Charts, all my gang in Exo. How many of you actually use Exo Charts? Please comment below and let me know if that is the case. Otherwise, I won't talk about this bad boy ever again. Here we go. So S&P has actually started to break down, and it's now worked down towards the value area low. And what I've done earlier on today is I just recorded a lesson for the Patreons of the channel, and it's all about the power of the 50, okay? It was a live trade, trading the S&P contracts, and inside of that, what I was doing was talking about the volume profile and how this area up here of the value area high is an area of resistance. And I was scalping and showing the patrons in that video how to understand and translate the information by the utility of the hybrid system as well. Okay, so if you want to check that out, go and join the Patreon, and then you'll get more insight. It's about 44 minutes long, but I break down my thought process when I'm opening and closing trades and justifying the strategy of the power of the 50 EMA. So I'll be releasing that very shortly once the live stream is done for the patrons that are already there. Okay, just check out patreon.com/tradersreality. Anyways, we're going into it now. Bitcoin looks like it wants to bring me the flavor back up to the red vector candle. We go back into Exo Charts and look at Bitcoin right now and where is it sat. Right now, Bitcoin is sat below the VWAP. The S&P is dropping down, and usually Bitcoin follows the S&P, okay? So is this a delayed response for Bitcoin? What's the interest? Well, look at it like this. If Bitcoin can hold this, and when the S&P starts to come back up, then Bitcoin will keep moving back up alongside the S&P. But if the S&P keeps on dropping, then Bitcoin eventually is going to drop, okay? Down here, you can see the value area low. We have got lots of commitment inside of here. There's interest, so the market could seek value in this area. If they reject the VWAP and they can't hold the point of control, Bitcoin's coming down, okay? Now, go back into the chart itself. We're seeing them trying to come back up into this red vector candle region. We just said that we want to see a test of the daily open. What way are you going with, Tino? This is a short-term time frame. Let's work with the Bookmap. Here we go. In front of you right now, you got the Bookmap. What is it showing you? Zoom out. What can you see? It's showing us that they're spiking above the VWAP, which is this white line right here. And look at this down here. Bottom of the chart. You see that? There's lots of liquidity inside of this area. Traders that had placed orders and canceled them. But right now, we're not seeing the same commitment coming in just yet, suggesting that they could be getting ready to mark price up higher because they are right now at the VWAP on the Bookmap for the last 24 hours. Looking into the order flow, we've got 409 Bitcoin orders at 28,000. Remember, institutional traders like to get their orders or longs below the VWAP and then close them above the VWAP. So we could get a really volatile day today if Bitcoin does bring us the flavor, okay? But we need to get above that VWAP right there, ladies and gentlemen. And what we then want to see is we want to see commitment coming in. You can see right now we've got 425 Bitcoin orders at 28,000, and that area right there, that orange zone, looks like it might be taken by Bitcoin. And we're justifying that by the utility of the vector candle on the 5-minute time frame. When you look at the 5-minute time frame, you've got no volatility in principle. Why? Because it's not moving away from the moving average just yet, okay? Remember, the hybrid system is great for day traders, scalpers, but it can be used for swing traders. So here's another example. Go to the 1-hour time frame. What do we see happening on here? Look at this. This is a stopping volume candle, a blue vector candle right there. That tells me that there is interest at that point. So if you are of the belief that Bitcoin is going to go to that zone, which happens to be what? The 27,548 region, which is what? The 800 EMA on the daily time frame. So the confluences are all coming together. Why? Because at that point right there, people opened positions to go short, but the market reversed and made them pay the price. The logic would suggest that we would come back towards this point at some stage. What they need to do first is they need to just regulate the market here. Why? Because we got stopping volume candles coming in succession. Now, a stopping volume candle, as we said yesterday, is what? A stopping volume candle is when the market maker forces price down lower to trap the retail trader into a belief that prices are dropping. What do you do when price drops? You go short, yeah? Wrong. You buy. But if you are operating like a retail trader, you are going short, and you need a reason for price to go down. Because when you go short, you're made to believe prices are dropping, okay? You build your short in the opposite direction, the same way the market maker does it. Because what do you do with an investment? You buy it to sell it from a higher price. Tell me where you go and you buy something and say, I'd like to sell it for a lower value with intention. Now, don't get it twisted. You might buy something of value and you have no choice but to sell it lower because things might not have worked in your favor. But I know for a fact, anytime you buy an investment, it's not with the intention to sell it as cheaply as possible. It doesn't make sense, okay? So why should you think any differently in your trading? Now, don't get it twisted. In terms of trading, you can exploit momentum trades. That's where you go into the 1-minute time frame and you have a look. Maybe Bitcoin could actually continue with this move even higher. So you just said, Tina, you don't buy when price is rising. However, look at the range that you're in. By the use of the hybrid system, we assume that the first green vector candle that appears above the 50 EMA would suggest that momentum starting to come in. Where in the chart is there the next point of interest to suggest traders are going to step in because they feel like they're missing out on a move to the upside? That will be right here, ladies and gentlemen, on this arrow. That is a wick. That wick right there is designed to get you to buy because it was originally a long green candlestick, which turned into a red vector candlestick. So it's acting like a stop run. Your job as a trader is to try and establish where the stop runs are, okay? That's your goal. because it's where the stop runs hit. When those are hit, that's when traders get emotional. Because if you're in a short and price moves to the upside, okay, you've got yourself a bit of a situation. Your liquidation points have been hit. What happens? You then change direction and say, you know what, I'm going to go long because it's going higher. Okay, cool. Look what happened here. They gave the retail trader that belief and then they ripped it back down again. This is what's important about trading, even whatever system you trade with, okay? Your goal is to try and work out human nature. These candlesticks will only appear if someone buys and someone sells. That's the truth. What time are we on? 10 minutes till the market actually opens. Let's see if we do realize the move to the upside and try and take back some of this area right here in Bitcoin. Next, let's have a look at some other assets going into the S&P and the NASDAQ. Let's go over to that. Hold on. Let's go to Euro, actually. So Euro's taking a little bit of a tumble to the downside, okay? And we are expecting the psychological high to be taken at some stage in the week. But we do have a bank holiday tomorrow, guys. So just remember, bank holiday for the UK tomorrow. So that means the banks are closed in the UK, so we're down a pool of liquidity. So just be mindful of that. More importantly, Euro is looking like it's formulating this structure. So look at this. You've got a W formation right here. Rise up, level 1, rise up, level 2, rise up, level 3, peak formation, drop level 1, drop level 2. We are in anticipation of a drop level 3 to the downside. Remember, always try and draw this structure at the start of your trading week every time you start trading so that you can have a good look at where you are in the charts. This is a cyclical pattern, okay? Now, let's move over and have a look. Yep, so we got the structure right there. We expect Euro to try and come back down, okay? Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, going to the pound itself, sharp plays down by the pound itself. Sad days for the pound. Rolling over, coming back into the next zone of interest, which is inside the 1.24 zone. If they can sustain this move and bounce from here, we would expect a retrace. But remember the principle of the cycle. W formation, rise up level 1, rise up level 2, peak formation, drop level 1, drop level 2. Might they find support in this area to come back up, to drop back down again to the psychological areas? That's what the story would suggest. Going into dollar yen itself, what have we got here? Dollar yen climbing up. We've got ourselves what looks like a full weekly cycle right here. Here we go. Look at this. W formation, rise up level 1, rise up level 2, rise up level 3, peak formation, drop level 1, drop level 2, drop level 3, peak formation. That's what the logic would suggest. Okay? Now, what if they continue back down again? Well, we'll be only going back into the previous vector candles. You can't know exactly when the market's going to turn because it will just be a lie. And anyone that tells you otherwise, they're lying to you. It's all probabilities. You'll only know if you're right or wrong when the money's on the table. Generate the feedback so that you can take that feedback. If the trade is right, what did you do? If the trade is wrong, what did you not do? And bounce between the two. But try and keep it as cheap as possible. Let's go back into the charts right now and go into some NASDAQ and S&P for my gang. Here we go. NASDAQ rolling over, getting ready to try and penetrate that key 13,000 zone. If it can't hold this 13,000 region, it's yippee to the downside. Looking at the chart, you can see they rejected the daily open twice. And that's not a good sign. So we could see some more movement with the recovery of the wick right here. But why are we expecting Bitcoin to try and move back up? Well, it's actually done that, ladies and gentlemen, and it's now fully recovered. Our little vector zone right there, coming into the red vector candle, coming into the test of the daily open, hopefully. Where's my daily open? Is it close by? Yes, no, daily open, not too far away. Well, nah, not any good, not good for me. But I'm expecting the recovery back up into the wick. Why? To come back into the same spot that they sold from, and the markets ain't even open just yet. Go back into Bitcoin on the Bookmap. Have a look. We're above the actual VWAP. Now we need to see the proof of the move. We need to see if they have got the capacity to keep going higher because there's interest. Look at this. Up here we had roughly nearly 1,000 Bitcoin orders contracted in this area here. That's suggesting to me that there's interest up there. That market maker says, you know what, bro, we can actually move price up there and get a ton load of traders to go long from there. We can sell our shorts into them and then we can just rip it back down. Institutional investors have been going long at the lows right here because everyone's been going short because they buy off them and then they mark it back up again and repeat the same process but in reverse. This is what's going through your mind. I'm only voicing out what you guys are thinking, and a practice for you is to voice what's going on in the chart. Because if you allow yourself to talk in your mind and be like, Bitcoin might go, yeah, I might not like that. That voice in your head can mess you up. Speak out loud. Talk to the chart. That's how they used to do it back in the day in the pits, screaming orders to people. That's what it was. You're making a conviction. Holding above that VWAP. I want to see a little bit more of a push by Bitcoin. Let's go back into the charts right now and go into the S&P. Are we seeing the S&P coming down again? Hold on a second. Go back down into S&P. Where you at? There we go. S&P's taking a nosedive. This is not good. Because if S&P keeps on dropping, at some point, Bitcoin will drop, which is suggesting to me that Bitcoin might be getting set up to roll over. This is what I'm saying, why a dirty move might happen. If it doesn't happen in this session, it's going to happen later on tonight. And if Bitcoin can hold out and keep moving higher, well done to Bitcoin. That's what I'm saying about Bitcoin just completely dismissing the marketplace. If it follows the S&P around 70% correlation, is this the 30%? That's what we're looking for. Remember, we wanted to see it come back into the previous zone that they grabbed traders' interest from. So we would then assume that it's the same thing's going to happen again from this point. Let's just go back into the value areas on the Exo charts. Where's Bitcoin? Holding above the VWAP at 571 contracts in that zone. If it can't hold the VWAP, it's done. That means Bitcoin is only going to seek the next area of interest, which is what? The point of control where most of the contracts are exchanged at. And even if they can't hold that point, then they will be going into lower areas where they can find value and interest from. And that will be the value area low, which has at 27,848. Now remember, 27,548 is the 800 EMA on the daily time frame. People will go short from there. That's where market maker will spike price lower, break that 800 and try and reverse back out to make them change their mind to only try and bring it back down if the idea suggests that Bitcoin is going to collapse. That's the idea. Okay? Now, how long we got? 3 minutes. Let's just have a look at AMP. I'm going to have a look at some of your tokens. So put in the chat what tokens you'd like me to have a look at. Even in the comment section, make sure you do put some tokens in there or any stocks that you want me to dive into, because then I can refer to them and then create a little list so that I can use during the live streams so that everyone gets a point of view on their candles, or sorry, on their stocks. So how many of you in the live with me? 1,230 of you beautiful people. Thank you to 300 people who have liked the stream. I'd love to thank another 1,200 people, but the likes aren't the same. And remember to subscribe. You know that big red bold button. It says subscribe for free. So just check that out. Okay, then moving on from that, AMP. Quite a choppy asset, okay? I'm not feeling that. Be very careful when you're trading assets like this. You know, very sharp moves. If you're on the wrong side of the trade, ciao, ciao, good night. This is what happens. Liquidity run. Market makers love these plays, okay? Because the spreads, in essence, are wide and they can actually spike traders' liquidations and put them to bed. What else have we got? ADA. Let's have a look at ADA, USDT. What have we got? 2 more minutes. And have a look at ADA on Bybit. Okay, so we've got some flavor with ADA holding in between the psychological areas. You can see, look, psychological high, psychological low. They're holding. Something's brewing inside of here. Quite frankly, if they do decide to release from this area, I would expect ADA to start coming back down towards the 35-cent zone. That would be on pressure of Bitcoin breaking down. Let's just have a look at good old gold. How many of you went out and brought your wives or your missus some gold chains yesterday or anything like that? All right, would have been expensive. Let price drop. This is how you get away from it, guys. This is how you can get away from spending money on jewelry. Just say, look at the price of gold, man. It's expensive now. Just sit tight, let the price drop, and then happy days. And then when it drops aggressively, turn around to her and say to her, come on, man, I ain't going to buy you that. It's cheap. Wait for the value of gold to go up. So you're playing this game of, I'm not going to buy it when it's too valuable. I'm not going to buy it when it's not valuable. That way, you're taking into consideration her feelings. That sounds so messed up, man. Anyways, green vector candle on the 50 EMA, or away from the 50 EMA, coming into a recovery of the vector candle. This is a sharp move, but it looks like the last point of interest in gold where a climatic zone has been reached. We're going into 1 more minute on the actual market open. So just be careful with gold, because gold does have the capacity to spike. But if they invalidate the 50 EMA on the 5-minute time frame, then we will be going into the 5-minute strategy criteria, which they have done. But they're coming into the 800 EMA. So what naturally you'd be expecting is a little bit of a retrace, consolidate, spike up to come back down again, because that's how gold operates. It's a safe haven, but investors have already hedged themselves on safety. In other words, now they're going to try and realize a return. Okay, so just be careful with gold when you're trading. Trade light, man. Keep your positions light. If you can't go to bed at night and have positions open, your risk is too much. Okay? Going into the dollar dominance, starting to show some interest. Now, it's been a while since the dominance of the dollar has started to kick in and Bitcoin has started to follow it, okay? Bitcoin has been trading sideways whilst dollar's been dropping down aggressively, okay? Now we're going to start get wind of how likely the dollar dominance is going to show its strength and purpose. Are they going to favor cash? That's the thing. Regardless of the de-dollarization, at the end of the day, we still need to use the dollar for the time being. Remember, it's emerging markets. Hasn't really done much to the dollar. So they've kind of absorbed it. Okay, cool. Go and buy your oil in yuan. Go and buy your oil France. That's cool. Go do what you need to do. We're still the heavyweight. That's the thing. And that is being shown by the chart right here. So dollar dominance has shown interest at the daily open. So assets against the dollar will go down if the dominance of the dollar goes up. Okay, now going into other assets as well. Let's have a look at Doge coinage. How many of you made a profit on Doge? Let me know. How many of you paid yourselves on Doge? I need to know, because if you haven't, I will not be impressed. Look at that. They're holding on to dear life. Nah, Doge is going to go back up. Hopefully it does. But look, making the money now, taking it from retail, because retail goes long right here. You go on Twitter's just changed its logo. No way. Bang! Thank you very much for your order, Mr. Retail Trader. I'm Mr. Market Maker. Well, you can't buy if no one's selling to you. I'll place my order of my shorts all the way up there. Keep on pumping it, Elon. Thank you very much. You are our sell liquidity. Thank you so much. Here's a couple of billion for that. Don't tell anybody how much Dogecoin you're holding. If you do tell anybody, ain't going to do anything, because when it comes back up, it shoots back down again. And just make sure that you verify that you do keep the new Twitter logo as the Dogecoin, named after good old Floki, and then happy days. It's going to go back up again. That's the story, okay? I'm seeing Tesla in the chart. Here we go. Where we at? Tesla. Okay, markets are now open, so we're going to see some movement. Tesla has gapped down, ladies and gentlemen, and we got a green vector candle down at the lows right here on Tesla. So just be careful with that, with the pressure of the S&P. Tesla might actually continue it down. Yesterday it was down 3.5%. Now we're going to probably see them try and work down a little bit more. Go back into BTC. We're starting to see some movement. They've rejected our area right now, so now we're going to start seeing some flavor in Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin going to do the dirty and initiate the move down lower? Let's get into some price action, ladies and gentlemen. They fully recovered our vector candle regions. Happy days, but they've also left a clue, because they have done exactly the same here but not broken down. But just be careful, because they're starting to work some interest. We got some interest down here. We're close towards our 27,500. Remember, that's our zone where our narrative for higher prices is going to change. Here we go. Let's see if they're going to do it. Order book. Bitcoin has broken the point of control, what we just said. If it can't hold the VWAP, it will go to the point of control. And if it can't hold the point of control, it's going down. S&P is taking a shoe bag. And, man, that angers me. Now, Bitcoin is working its way down towards the value area low. If Bitcoin breaks the value area low at 27,840, we're going to see a flush of liquidity to the downside. So just be careful with that. Let's go into the Bookmap and have a look at what's going on over there. Here we go. So Bookmap, rejection of that VWAP, ladies and gentlemen. They've got the traders again, getting them to buy inside of that zone. Now they've pulled it back. They have to hold this area here. If they can't, which is consistent with the value area low, and of course the point of control zone, if they can't hold this zone, it's over for Bitcoin for the day. It's going to start working its way down lower. We have a look at the scope on the chart itself, and we see that the 1 hour time frame could lead Bitcoin to come down to test this wick right here. So just be mindful of that. The pressure of the S&P is forcing a lot of assets, or giving us the idea that they're selling. Look, it's about to roll. So just be very careful. They will probably try and break this zone right here. Once they do break this zone, they will spike into it, come back up, consolidate, and follow on with the narrative. Okay? How long that takes is a different story, but we are down a pool of liquidity tomorrow because the UK banks are closed and the European banks are closed, which then suggests to us, let me make sure of that. Hold on. European banks, yeah, Eurozone is closed, and Germany being the largest economy in the Eurozone, that is closed, and the UK, that means that those guys have today to offload positions or add positions, okay? What does it look like they're doing? It looks like they're offloading or even buying, okay? So remember that. Let's go back into Bitcoin for a second, holding out. I believe that at 3 p.m. today, Bitcoin will bring the flavor, okay? Go to the 1 minute time frame. Have a look at there. Have we got any 5-minute strategy plays right here? So we've got a rejection of the 50 EMA right now. We're waiting for them to initiate the drop. Is this going to be the continuation back up? If they find resistance here, we then assume that the move is going to lead lower. Look left. We're going into the vector candle wick right there, which is where the biggest point of interest in the chart is, where traders are currently transacting at. We take that point and look at 27,712. We go into the Exo Charts part and we have a look at 27,712. Will take us into the value area low, which is deemed as an area of support, which is where we would naturally expect Bitcoin to reverse from. Okay, now let's see if they break the value area low. It's going lower. That's what's in my mind, in my opinion, not financial advice, just looking at what's going on in the chart. Please make sense of your trades. Don't go blindly into anything. Just be very cautious. We're waiting to see if they invalidate the value area low, because they've moved away from the point of control where most of the transactions happened inside of the candles area. Like this area here takes into consideration the daily candle. So most of the transactions at 1.4 at the 27,899. They've just tapped that liquidity on the high block and liquidated those traders. Hold on, let's have a look. They just taken those traders out. What are you doing, bruv? Man, this winds me up. Here we go. Here we go. Not taken just yet. What time was it at? 35 minutes. Okay, so just 2 minutes in. They haven't taken. There's $68 million worth of long liquidations at 27,796. This move might look like the move that's going to take it. 796 will take us towards this area right here. So we would assume that if they hold this, if they come back up and start to break down from this point, then we would naturally expect Bitcoin to try and reach towards the 27,796. The pressure of the S&P dropping is going to unfold in Bitcoin, so just be very careful with that. If it doesn't, that's a good sign, okay? So just be mindful of that. They're probably going to try and do it right now. What time are we on? 25 minutes to first 5 minutes of the marketplace. Remember, the Brinks box is forming right now, so just be careful, okay? Tino for Fast Rap Guinness World of Record Traders category. Yes. Anyone out there that can spit price action the faster than me, I'll challenge them to it. Challenge accepted. Get anyone. Anyone that can spit the fire on the price. All right, I'm just speaking information. I'm speaking out loud. Trying to get you guys to understand value from it. Okay, but right now, let's bring you some flavor. 27,500. We've got 499 Bitcoin orders stacked in that zone, suggesting to us that there could be an area of an interest by market makers to start getting orders filled in this zone. But we want to know if market maker has got the capacity to keep bringing price down even closer towards the 27,760 zone, where we've got 321 Bitcoin orders in that area, which is where they last built their longs and brought up and reversed price to come back up again. I ain't going to get into it. I'm not in the flow with it right now, ladies and gentlemen, which leads me over to the end of the live stream. Please trade very safely, ladies and gentlemen. And if you are new to the channel, mad love and respect for passing through. Hit the like button and subscribe for more. I'll be checking in with you all later on tonight to have a look at what's been going on in the madness in the world today and yesterday. But other than that, got nothing but love for you all. Take care of yourselves, gang. Peace.